Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome, my name is Randy. I love everything crochet, and today we'll be crocheting a weekender tote. Now I do have to fix the straps because I accidentally did not sew them correctly, but I can still show you guys the tote. It is a quite large tote. I think this is like the perfect size, as I'll show in the end. That could even fit my cat in it because he was laying on it. But this is the perfect size for when you maybe are going away for one night and just want like to be able to put your toiletries and your tomorrow outfit and your pajamas in a bag. If you are traveling where you need like your laptop and other things, I think this is the perfect size bag. Yeah, that's kind of what I made it for, is I wanted a huge bag to kind of be my carry-all when traveling, and I think this is perfect. So yeah, I also think I will, especially after I tie in these ends, actually do a written pattern of this. If I do, it will be available on my Etsy. But until then, we have this like relatively quick and easy crochet pattern because it's just me telling you how many stitches to do. But yes, if you make this, definitely go to my Instagram and send me a picture, let me know. And you should go follow my Instagram as well, as I just threw the bag on the floor. But let's go ahead and get started. To start with our weekender tote, you'll need plenty of yarn. I don't know exactly how much this is the first time I'm making this, but I am doing the 3-strand method, which I'll show you guys. I don't know if that's the proper name, that's what we're gonna call it, because I love all these colors and I think they'll look so good together. I got 3 of the Pound of Love by Lion Brand yarn. This one is in Pink Salt. Then we have Pastel Green and Pastel Blue. I was gonna do like a yellow, but then I saw this pink color and I loved it. I bought all of these from Michael's. There was a 30% off coupon, so this bag should only cost me $26 to make. Because I'm not going to count my time, because this is my fun time. This is what I enjoy. It costs me nothing to, sit here and crochet, because I rather do that than sit on my phone. So to me, like when I'm making something for myself, I don't count hours. Because you know what? This is what I want to be doing. I rather do this than go to work. So there's that. Now, this recommends a 6mm hook. I am going to use an 8 because I'm going to have all 3 strands on my hook at once. So I will need a little bit of a larger hook size to take that into account. Let me move this. So to make this, instead of doing striping, I figured this would technically be easier. It's going to be difficult carrying 3 pounds of yarn around everywhere I go, but I think this overall will be easier than trying to do stripes where I would still carry around multiple things of yarn. So basically we're going to want to separate out our yarn once we got it all on our hook. Separate out those and separate out our 3 strands, and we're just going to crochet like we typically would into our starting chain here. You want to make sure it's nice and loose because it's definitely going to be a lot more difficult to get into your stitches with the 3 strands. And you can pick whatever colors you want. I just like to share them in case you like the colors I'm using. And yeah, so this is definitely going to be like beachy pastel. There we go. Colors for summer. I really wanted like a nice weekender bag that I could, throw everything extra I need that's not like in my typical suitcase bag. I normally don't take a suitcase when we go on trips because we're weekend trip people, like long weekends. So normally I take my duffel, and sometimes you have extra stuff that just doesn't fit in your duffel, like if you need to take a laptop, if you want to take a book, all the extra fun stuff. So basically this is going to be like so. Both ends will be the top. So the length you do this, you want to keep that in mind. So I'm gonna do mine quite large because I want my bag to be pretty tall. So I'll probably have close to like 100 stitches here, a starting chain. But for whatever size you want to make yours, you'll just want to keep that into consideration. That these two will be the top, your center of it will be your bottom because we're going to make a separate piece to be the sides. So this will be the front, this will be the back, top and bottom. I know, I'm carrying on. Let me see how many of my starting chain I do, and then I'll get back and I did a starting chain of 75. Like I said, my bag is going to be quite large, so if you are trying to make a smaller one, I recommend not doing that many because this is going to stretch a little bit as we go. So we're going to skip our first stitch because we're going to do our first row, and I'm going to do single crochet because we already are using 3 strands of yarn all at once. I don't want anything like popping out, falling out while I'm using this bag. So I'm just going to do single crochet. I definitely think a half double would be good as well. But sometimes I just really like the pattern that the single crochet stitch does. And so my rows will have 74 stitches since I did skip that first stitch there. And I'm just going to do single crochet for every row. And I'll count how many rows I do. And yeah, that's why this is going to be a relatively easy bag. It's going to take a while because of the size, but there's kind of like a look at how the pattern looks. And I will do however many rows I need and come back and let you know.
And I mean, if it's on I believe it's on a scale of...
This is after 10 rows. This is what it looks like after 20 rows. This is 30 rows of single crochet stitches. This is after 40 rows. So I did 50 rows of crochet here. And I have it at this way because that's how I'm gonna fold it. So it's 50 rows this way, but I'm gonna fold it in half here because that's gonna be our weekender tote. I definitely think you could add anywhere from 4 to 10 more rows if you want a much larger tote, but this one is already so big and I don't want it to get too heavy, so I only did 50. If you want it to be more proportional, I would say do 60 in total because I will say it is a little square. If you want more of a rectangle shape, I would do another, actually I would probably do 6 to 10 more rows.
CGA tour quality gold. Eerily terrifying banshee. Native to the shadow planet of Mars.com. These creepy carnivores have glowing green eyes.
I have my 3 strands of yarn on my hook here, and we are now going to make the straps. I already made one, so I can know exactly how long I need to make it. And for my personal preference and the bag I am making, it is going to be a starting chain of 50. And once you complete your starting chain of 50, we're going to skip the first loop here and then go into the second. So we'll have rows of 49 single crochet stitches. And I will say this will be all based on preference. I would recommend at least 4 rows, which is what I did. So it's a strong enough hold for this size of a bag. It's going to be bigger. You'll also potentially put heavier items in here due to the size. But if you want thicker straps, I would definitely say you could add another 2 rows, making 6 rows of 49. But for my personal bag, I am doing 4. I completed both of my shoulder straps here. So now we are going to do the sides of the bag. As you know, this was like our starting chain that went what is now vertically. So we want to horizontally do our side. So basically you'll kind of want to see how wide you want your bag to be here, the depth. I don't know, I'm not a bag person, I don't know the proper term for this. We're going to do our starting chain. So my starting chain is 15, so it can kind of fit perfectly on the side here. And then we're gonna skip our first stitch, go into the second, and we'll do rows of 14 as long as I get all 3 strands through here. Start over. But we're going to do a to be determined amount of rows because I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then I'll come back and let you know how many rows you need for the side panel. I did 32 rows of 14, and it's going to kind of be sewn in just like this. So this will be our sides and our front and back of our bag. And now I have to do a second side panel. I'm going to do the same exact size. We'll sew it across the bottom here, sew it up the top, and then it'll, like I said, come together at a squared off edge. Once you have all of your separate pieces, you now want to weave everything together to make one solid piece. Besides having to weave my ends in, I completed my weekender tote. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear my cat meowing in the background. Here he is. Oh, he's got to come check it out. I really like how it turned out. I think it could have been bigger. Clearly my cat approves, so you know it's good if the kitty cat approves of the bag. And look, it's a perfect size. He could technically fit in there. He would never go in there ever. But yes, so this is a pretty large bag. I definitely think it could be bigger. I think this is like still a good travel bag. Perfect for if you just like want something to put like a laptop in, some extra things in, your cat in. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!